Mr. Anil Rajdan, Chairman World PetroCoal Congress, His Excellency Mr. Augusto Montel, Ambassador of Venezuela, His Excellency Dr. Rashid Al Lim, Chairman Sharjah Electricity and Water Authority, UAE, Mr. Alok Parti, former Secretary Coal, Mr. S.K. Srivastava, Vice President of the World PetroCoal Congress Steering Committee, and former Secretary to Government of India, Ministry of Coal, Dr. S.B. Agnihotri, former Secretary of Ministry of Renewable Energy and former Secretary Coordination in Cabinet Secretariat, Sri Sudhir Vasudeva, former CMD of ONGC Limited, Mr. Anil Garg, President of World PetroCoal Congress, MS Aya Yoshida from IEA France, global energy experts, Chief Executive of GAIL, former CMD of ONGC Sri Sharma, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is a matter of great pleasure to be here with you today at the 7th World PetroCoal Congress. The theme chosen for this conference, Petroleum, Coal, Gas, Sustainable Management of the Future Energy Mix, is very, very appropriate and relevant in today's scenario. Given that oil, gas and coal continue to be the three most widely used fossil fuels globally and together constitute over 80% share in the global primary energy mix. The energy sector today is going through a tremendous amount of transformation in the wake of rising volatility in prices, global economic scenario, shift in energy use patterns, challenges in meeting demand and supply gap in the developing countries, growing environmental concerns and the climate change. Although there were no specific Millennium Development Goal relating to energy, energy is widely recognized as a prerequisite to the achievements of 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development and Paris Agreement. This summit will provide a unique platform to understand and deliberate upon the future energy challenges in the petroleum, coal and natural gas sectors, where global multi-stakeholder community, including inter alia, the business leaders, experts, policymakers and industry professionals have come together to collectively explore innovative solutions, opportunities and new avenues for ensuring clean, reliable and affordable energy supply at present and in the coming years. As far as India is concerned, at present we are the fastest growing large economy of the world. The growth in GDP was at 7.6% during 2015-16. The World Bank, IMF and other institutions have projected even better growth in the coming years, crossing over 7% in 17-18 and 18-19. Like in every large growing economy, energy is central to our growth as well, and its demand has kept pace with the GDP growth. India is already the third largest energy consumer in the world after China and US. Going forward, the energy is expected to become even more essential to meet our growth and transformation as a result of increasing population, increasing economic activity, and the rising income levels. With emphasis on Make in India, the manufacturing sector, as the manufacturing sector grows, and also the its requirement of energy increases in addition to the services and agriculture sector. The access to electricity and the clean cooking fuel like LPG, PNG and rural households will also become critical to improve the livelihood of the masses. And with the growth in GDP, the movement of raw materials, finished goods and people is also expected to increase. This would lead to higher need for the fuel and energy. The IEA has estimated that India's primary energy demand is expected to increase from 824 million tons of oil equivalent in 2014 to somewhere between 1450 and 1560 million tons of oil equivalent by 2030, growing at a compound annual growth rate of between 3.6 to 4.1%, much faster than major economies of the world. Therefore, the way energy is harnessed, produced and consumed requires a paradigm shift towards sustainable development. While the share of renewable capacity in India is set to rise, the fossil fuels would continue to dominate overall our energy mix in near future. In fact, the share of fossil fuels in our energy mix is likely to increase from 73% in 2014 to be in the range of 78 to 80% by 2030, again as estimated by IEA. In other words, although nuclear energy, hydropower, solar, wind, biofuels, etc. would become more important, but their role in India's energy mix will remain marginal. The fact remains that there does not appear to be an alternative for fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, at least in the near term. Given our growing energy demands, our reliance on imports and the level of domestic fossil fuel resources, our country has ambitious plans to increase the domestic oil and gas production and exploit all possible forms of energy to the fullest. The Honorable Prime Minister has urged all stakeholders to increase the domestic production of oil and gas, to reduce the import dependence by 10% by 2022, and when we celebrate our 75th year of independence. He has further enunciated a clear roadmap on the future of energy sector, which rests on the four pillars, that is energy access, energy efficiency, energy sustainability and energy security. He has also mentioned that India needs to make the best use of international and domestic environment in the hydrocarbon sector. As far as exploration and production goes, the government has taken several initiatives and reforms in the hydrocarbon sector for increasing production and exploitation of all the domestic resources. Among other measures, we have introduced investor-friendly hydrocarbon exploration licensing policy discovered small fields policy and the gas pricing reforms, which would go a long way in incentivizing investment in the E&P sector and unlocking a large quantity of hydrocarbons. Now, in order to completely unlock the potential, we have rolled out elaborate plan to reassess the same in India's sedimentary basins. Or the database which would be generated would provide the much required clarity to future investors on the prospects and basins. Further, the National Seismic Program has been launched to carry out 2D seismic surveys of entire unappraised areas. As regards the energy access to the rural poor, the initiative under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has been taken, where over 1.2 billion US dollars have been allocated to provide the 50 million LPG connections to women in poor households. Our target is to extend the LPG connection to 75% of all households over the next 3 years. We have launched highly successful direct benefit transfer scheme in LPG in January 2015, which has been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest direct cash transfer scheme in the world. The scheme has brought transparency and eliminated multiple or duplicate connections and reduced the leakages in subsidy. We are promoting the use of clean and efficient fuels like the natural gas, which is the fuel of the future. To improve the share of natural gas in the energy basket of the country, we have adopted a systematic approach to focus on all aspects of the gas sector, that is, development of gas sources, either through domestic gas exploration and production activities or through building up facilities to import natural gas in the form of LNG, and development of nationwide gas grid and the city gas distribution networks, development of gas consuming markets like fertilizers, power, transport and industries. In a bid to expand the natural gas pipeline infrastructure, we have provided a capital grant of almost rupees 5,000 crores, which amounts to about 40% of the project cost for development of 2,540 kilometers of Jagdishpur, Haldia and Bokaro Dhamra natural gas pipeline, which is also known as Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga project. Along with this pipeline, the city gas distribution networks will also come up, and the eastern part of the country where the gas usage is comparatively lower would get a boost. The government has also reduced in this budget reduced the basic customs duty on LNG from 5% to 2.5%, and this will help to reduce the cost of LNG and is expected to boost the demand from industrial and commercial sectors, especially power, petrochemicals, fertilizers, CGD, etc. We have also taken the green initiatives, and in respect of green fuels, we are providing high priority to conservation and efficiency measures, which gives two-pronged benefits in our context for energy security and the health and environmental protection. The fuel economy norms for heavy-duty vehicles are being developed, and we are leapfrogging from BS4 to BS6 fuel norms. positioning the cleaner fuels like PNG and CNG, ethanol blending of petrol, biofuel programs. These are some of the steps which we are focusing upon the direction of petroleum efficiency and conservation. We are also encouraging the production of second generation ethanol from agricultural residues to provide additional sources of remuneration to the farmers, addressing growing environmental concerns and achieving 10% ethanol blending in petrol. Oil PSUs are in the process of setting up 12 bioethanol refineries across 11 states in our country. We are also focusing on the non-conventional sources of petroleum, that mainly on the CBM, commercial recovery of CBM. We have estimated 92 trillion cubic feet of CBM resources, of which only about 10 TCF has so far been established. The CBM production currently is about 1.6 million metric standard cubic meters per day. We want to give a thrust on CBM production with authorization of Coal India Limited and its subsidiaries for CBM operations in their coal mining blocks. We have also approved a policy framework for the development of underground coal gasification from coal or lignite resources which are otherwise regarded as uneconomical to work through conventional mining methods. New sources such as shale oil and gas hydrates have emerged in the recent years, although commercial exploitation may still be some time away due to technical constraints. Several initiatives have thus been taken by the government to transform the energy sector in our country in the recent past, which are yielding positive results. However, a lot remains to be done. I am sure that the enabling environment created would surely give momentum and help the energy sector not only to traverse on an upward trajectory but also address various associated challenges in its path. I look forward to the ideas and suggestions which would emanate during the next 3 days to help unleash India's energy potential. I am happy to note that this event is going to deliberate on the various important issues including clean coal technology, biofuels, CBM, natural gas, liquid fuels, petrochemicals from coal and petcoke, underground coal gasification, coal synergy, coal syngas, petrochemicals and fertilizers, coal to liquid and gas to liquid, which will definitely prove to be very fruitful for the industry. In the decades ahead, the world will need to expand the energy supply in a way that is safe, secure, affordable, and environmentally responsible. The scale of the challenge is enormous and requires an integrated set of solutions and the pursuit of all economic activities. Coming back to the global outlook, we have to realize that in the future, the energy scenario would consist of the situation where producers and suppliers as well as users both will become important. The producers would not be able to ignore the interest of large markets like India and other Asian economies. Markets are gradually becoming our strength, which perhaps earlier were considered to be the weakness. In this context, I feel that there are 5 key challenges which needs to be addressed in the energy space in this international congress, which I am told is the only congress in the world to address petroleum, coal and gas industry on one platform with the focus on synergy for energy. The issues which I think are very important are the players, the production, the technology and pricing and finance and infrastructure. With these words, I declare the Congress open and wish all the summit a grand success and look forward for a fruitful discussion, a way forward in terms of concrete recommendations. Thank you all.